What's up, everybody? I'd like to welcome you to the grand premiere of the Yo-Man Show, a nifty little in-depth gaming analysis channel brought to you by yours truly. We'll be reviewing some of the most acclaimed releases in gaming and delving into the deeper meanings of them, all to enhance appreciation for these titles that are already pretty highly thought of. We'll be covering the mechanics, story and features, and of course the themes the developers touched upon. We'll be opening up this show by taking a look into Breath of the Wild, the heavily acclaimed open-world reinvention of the Zelda series. An apocalypse-esque vastness consumes the world as perhaps the most thought-provoking entry in the franchise to date, uses this recreation of Hyrule as a vessel to illustrate what is kind of a rebirth of the franchise, so to speak. The destruction of the franchise's most known location, Hyrule, and the world's reinvention into a soulful yet empty place does an excellent job of filling you with a sense of eeriness and dread, as you slowly develop an understanding of the horror that preceded your place in the story. The way this game slowly trickles in the backstory of the world before it fills you with a truly raw sense of dread and intrigue is actually brilliant, and Breath of the Wild does a terrific job of never giving you enough information, but just enough to keep suspense up while maintaining immersion in this beautiful, picturesque landscape that really captures the naked beauty of wildlife. Link's character really blossoms in this title despite his silence, as the world itself develops his character, you meet the game's wide variety of interesting and memorable characters, like Impa, Urbosa, and more. They kind of fill in the blanks of Link's muteness, and Breath of the Wild kind of takes world building to another level. Not only is the new Hyrule fascinating and seemingly endless, with some beautiful biomes like the autumnal cliffs of Akala and the luscious mysterious jungles of Faron, but the world itself also personifies the protagonist Link by reflecting his personality in the way they remember and react to him. Another way this title really shines is in the cutscenes, or memories as they're called in the game. These scenes, which can be unlocked throughout exploration, depict Link alongside the second character who really flourishes in this game, which is Zelda herself. Zelda's characterization in this game is nothing short of phenomenal. She's basically a young girl who tries her hardest to live up to the family name, to be the woman everyone wants her to be or needs her to be, while simultaneously fighting against her father's disapproval. But she ultimately fails, and we witness the effects of the pressure mounted upon her in the 16th memory, Despair, which is a really tragic and thought-provoking scene, which kind of really encapsulates the just the powerful nature of the story in this game. It's a sucker punch to witness and really makes you sympathise with the character in a way that not many Nintendo games are able to achieve, especially considering Breath of the Wild isn't exactly the most dialogue-heavy game out there, although there's still plenty of it if you really go looking for it. The four Guardians in this game are excellently characterised too. The contrast in character and how they complement and guide Link really feeds into the theme of how the resilience and the heart of nature and humanity, but with a wide array of species in this case, not exactly humanity, can defeat man-made adversity, and I'll be touching on this later. Now, let's delve into the gameplay aspects of this game, and why I personally think they perfectly complement the rest of the game. The game controls character progression via upgrades to the life and stamina meters, which allow the player to explore further thanks to increased stamina needed for climbing and gliding, and health, meaning you won't get immediately thwarted by the stronger enemies that prowl Hyrule. In order to earn these upgrades, the player must obtain 4 Spirit Orbs per upgrade, which can be earned by completing the most consistent and abundant challenge in the game, the Shrines. These shrines are pulled off very well in this game. With 120 to find, you won't ever struggle to discover any along your travels, because they're not too difficult to find, but there aren't too many to the point where finding them is no longer a point of intrigue, and you've really got to go looking for them, or you don't have to go looking for them in contrast. And it helps that the puzzles or mini-bosses that these shrines contain are for the most part exciting and memorable. That'd be quite a slog if it was the same thing every time, but despite the practically identical design of these shrines, the challenges they hold are often unique and stimulating. The puzzles are never too challenging as to alienate more casual players, but provide the right level of effort required to make completing them and earning these Spirit Orbs a rewarding feeling. For every shrine completed, you earn a single Spirit Orb, and with 4 you can upgrade one of the aforementioned meters, life or stamina. Because you have to come across shrines naturally and cannot simply chase after them, the progression in this game feels very organic and real, and you slowly grow from having to evade many of the stronger enemies to basically becoming an all-powerful harbinger of destruction with like 20 odd hearts, which of course makes the progress in this game feel incredibly rewarding. The enemies in this game are also pretty great. The intelligent design they exhibit, like talking, sleeping, dancing, or having to go out their way to pick up their weapons, makes them feel like real intelligent creatures, and adds a whole new dimension to the combat in this game, as you can use their behaviour to orchestrate a battle plan, and the possibilities and defeating your enemies in endless explosive barrels, death by metal blocks to the head, and many more. Some enemies will even throw their friends at you, which is quite amusing. But alas, I'd like to return to the themes of this game, and why they're the reason this game basically becomes elevated from very good to an all-time great game. Because underneath the surface, the themes of Romanticism and the victory of nature over man-made evils are what really makes Breath of the Wild's tale one of beauty and optimism. For those who are unfamiliar with Romanticism, Romanticism was an artistic movement that originated in Europe and peaked in the early 19th century. It emphasized emotion and individualism, and nature was a common theme, in contrast to the Industrial Revolution which occurred at this time. Breath of the Wild's story and themes have many similarities with the Romantic movement. The natural landscape is seemingly endless and holds a power over the character, as they must work to strengthen their character before being able to fully explore or conquer the magnificent natural landscapes in the game world. This theme relates to many famous romantic works, like the Prelude, which emphasize the power of nature as opposed to man-made creations. Another romantic theme of Breath of the Wild is human and emotional struggle. The personal battles of characters like Zelda, who is forced to face her destiny despite her attempts to become her own individual, and her eventual feelings of failure, really do a great job of emphasizing how emotion over reason is an ethos that dictates many of our lives. Characters like King Dorothan, who struggles with the loss of his daughter, and Urbosa, who worries for and provides motherly care for Zelda, help elevate the theme of personality and character over man-made conformity, which is represented in the Guardians and Divine Beast in the game. The Guardians are all robotic, man-made creations that are identical. This plays into the theme of loss of character and emotional depth, and technology takes over nature, a message that was prevalent in the Romantic movement relating to the Industrial Revolution. Of course, I can't really say Nintendo when they write is meant any of his connotations, but it's definitely interesting to think about, I feel. In conclusion, what makes Breath of the Wild the standout release is where the natural, satisfying game progression complements the gorgeous landscapes, which are filled with unique and memorable content. The wide variety of challenges, mini-quests, and collectibles allow the player to fully appreciate the game world and really delve into it as deeply as possible. The hundreds of hidden Korok seeds across the world help with this especially. Breath of the Wild is a fantastic experience. The greatest asset is how it can be appreciated by casuals and hardcore fans alike. An enjoyment experience on the surface, but below the surface, both content-wise and theme-wise, is an even more enriching experience. I wanted to start with this game because I knew it would be so easy to talk about, because there's so much great about it. Even so, this episode will be quite short in comparison to future releases. My next episode on New Vegas should be a lot longer. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next month.